So what is Haiti? Right before we landed, we were flying over the country, and right before those wheels touched down, Haiti was a world in need to me.
Haiti was abstract.
Poorest country in the Western Hemisphere.
My impression of Haiti was formed by the media and what you saw on the news.
Violence and just kind of overall rubble.
It was the epicenter of hell on earth.
Haiti being just a place, a desperate kind of place.
You know, looking at the water from the plane, I knew there was movement, I knew the waves moved, so I knew that's why the ripples were there, but I couldn't actually understand it, understand how dynamic it really was. And landing in the plane, I think, is kind of like jumping out into that water and understanding the true movement.
Look down from a broken sky, traced out by the city lights. My world from a mile high, best seat in the house tonight. Touchdown in the cold black top, hold on for the sudden stop. Breathing the familiar shock of confusion and chaos. All those people going somewhere. Why have I never cared? Give me your eyes for just 1 second.
There's a lady who, like, the first vibration, she was like leg closed out. She was on the roofing of her house.
Oh my God.
The first one, she jumped to the second building, and the building, you know, like, she jumps to the third one, till, you know, she fell at the other side, you know, of the third building, and all those buildings, you know, like collapse. Yeah.
Wow.
So Matthew 25 is a quote from the Gospel of St. Matthew, which it talks about what you do for the least of my brothers and sisters, you do for me. So it's based on that activity that we had today in today's Gospel of just your faith, not just in words, but also in action.
Heavenly Father, you always amaze me. Let your kingdom come in my world and in my life. Give me the food I need to live through the day, and forgive me as I forgive the people that wrong me.
It's more how you greet one another, what you say to one another, the time you spend, as you can tell at the gate. I mean, it's a big thing. And people will greet you that saw you in the morning, and it's you, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's like you just met for the first time.
Got the window, the birds are composing. Not a note is out of tune or out of place. Walk to the meadow instead.
There's a joy, there's a sadness in our life. I mean, I once said to somebody, and they said, well, if we ever started to cry, we'd never stop.
Wedding day. So why should I worry? Why do I freak out? God knows what I need. You know what I need. Your love is, your love is, your love is strong. Your love is, your love is, your love.
So the Department of Menabonit, which is kind of like a state in the United States, started a while back, and as of recently, in the past 10 to 15 years, it became very tense. There was one culture, which is now Jacksonville, and another culture that was kind of against each other to find that dominance of Menabonit. So Gabby came in, and he took this community that was completely together and just named it Jacksonville after his father.
The reading from Corinthians about how if the nose is part of the body and it says to the ear, you know, I don't want you, it's not any less of the body. And if any part of the body is hurting, then the entire body is hurting. And I think really that underscores the reason for service. If any part of the body of humanity is hurting or is in need, perhaps here in Haiti or somewhere else, then the body of humanity as a whole is hurting, and that is our inspiration for our service.
Later, when we realized that we had only worked for 3 hours, it felt like a lot more to realize that this is what they do, you know, every day, and for out of necessity for survival.
About a mile and a half out there to a plot of land that was kind of like situated on a hill, and what we did was go through the land and literally pull these big rocks out of the ground. It ranged from anything from about this big to just huge boulders that like 4 guys can carry. What we do with those is we take them back to the town in this box-drawn carriage, and it's used as the foundation of the house.
So I went to the clinic in Pion with Dr. Bob yesterday, and we worked the clinic, we saw patients, and it was a pretty incredible experience. We saw several people diagnosed with malaria and various skin conditions, and then some more serious conditions, and it was really eye-opening how medicine is practiced here and how much they don't have.
Seeing the people of Haiti and how little they have, and realizing how much I have, has been extremely humbling and the perfect way for me to start lunch.
We realized, you know, we had all this food for breakfast or for dinner, and people that were in the town, literally 100 feet away, might not even get that for a week. And it brings you to a really centered or internal level of, like, you feel compassion, you feel guilty, you feel kind of a total confluence of emotions.
How Lent has really a new meaning now that we're in a place where fasting and abstinence are not something that are particularly voluntary, but just part of everyday life. One of the way I've looked at it is that it's time to give up a little something of yourself. Die to that. Die to yourself so that you can give more to others.
Now I'm free. Now I'm free. My dead heart now is beating. My deepest.
We believe God is good, and that's the only way we can make so much progress we are having, and there's no doubt about it. Without God, it could be impossible.
I had a blast at Carnival last night, and I think that one of the defining moments so far in this trip was just having a lady from the town come up to me and take my hand and put her son's hand in mine and like point to go on with like everyone following the tap tap, and it was just really fun, and we all got excited because I think everyone around us was excited.
I think faithfully somebody needs to believe in God, and without that it could be a failure, because to so many things that we went through, if God wasn't there, it could even be worse.
The threat of cholera has been pretty strong, and it's really real. 2 people have already died since we've been here.
We get there to the person's house, and there's loud music going, people are celebrating in a way with one another, and it kind of just struck all of us in a different way, you know, because you don't see that too often back in the United States. Celebrating that somebody lived a full life and not just focusing on the fact that you're going to be without them. It's almost celebrating, yes, they're moving forward to something bigger than this place.
I really see Haiti as kind of a window into really humanity. It's a place where we can kind of see ourselves in a way that's not hindered by all these materialistic layers that we tend to carry around in our culture.
I think that all of us had times on this trip that we just wanted to cry, but it wasn't from everything being so horrible and the living conditions being bad, but because there was a lot of beautiful times during this trip.
In the midst of the violence, in the midst of the destruction, in the midst of the poverty, there's a beauty that is hard to explain, and the beauty of Haiti is its people.
A place where hope is very authentic because it's needed. It's, in a way, it's also undistracted. It's not, you know, all the lighthearted hope we can kind of talk about here. It's hope because, you know, without it, there's no way to get through the day.
I would like to reach out my hand, tell you to run. Nobody say, nobody on. Well, pick me up where golden her. Tell you to run. Nobody say, nobody on.